Have you ever noticed trigrams are sometimes arranged in a different pattern? This is not a printing error. There are actually two kinds of patterns in the I-Ching system. One is called earlier heaven, and the other one is called the later heaven. In today's video, I'll explain to you why there are two of them and the meanings behind each pattern. If you're particularly interested in I-Ching reading, which I will teach you in the near future, today's content you must be familiar with and better to remember it. Hope you enjoy. Let's start with earlier heaven, also called FuXi or FuXi A trigrams. While FuXi created these A trigrams, he also put them into a specific pattern. Now, based on my previous video, you already knew that each trigram stands for each natural phenomena on Earth. So what FuXi did next was simply match them with Chinese geographical features in specific. After all, the main reason for him to create these A trigrams is to predict the change of the surrounding environments for the local people.
This is the geography of China. All the rivers in China originate from the west and flow eastwards. FuXi put the trigram Kan at this place to represent water. Opposite to Kan, trigram Li means fire or the sun. The sun always rises in the east, so Li is at this place. While China has the coldest weather in the north and the hottest weather in the south, FuXi matches them with the purest yang trigram Qian and the purest yin trigram Kun. The southwest region of China has a lot of monsoons all year round. And just before the summertime, there's a large amount of lightning and thunder happening in the northeast region. The northwest part of China is a plateau area, and so FuXi uses Gen to represent here. And in the southeast is the coastline, which FuXi uses Dui to represent the sea. So this whole geographical indication is the meaning behind this pattern. If you are interested, you can visit FuXi Bagua Terrace in Henan province when you travel to China next time. It is said that FuXi started his observation at this place and eventually discovered Chinese geographical features without traveling all around China.
There are also two number arrangements related to each pattern. For this one, earlier heaven, the number sequences are King Wen, Dui 2, Li 3, Zhen 4, Xun 5, Kan 6, Gen 7, and Kun 8. When you look at the number by themselves, they look normal. However, if you try to draw a continuous line based on their order, that's where the magic happens. Pause the video and then try drawing a line between them, see what it will be like. Then, this line appears to be an S shape. Does this pattern look familiar to you? If not, how about now? Amazing, isn't it? This is not a coincidence. From Qian Wen to Zhen 4 is the period when yang energy goes from its maximum to its minimum. And the other half, from Xun 5 to Kun 8, is the period when yin energy goes from its minimum to its maximum. So if yang energy reaches to its extreme, it will become yin energy. And if yin energy grows to its limits, it will become yang energy. And the circle just simply repeats itself forever. I don't know much about physics, so correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I know, with the advent of quantum physics, we start to see everything in a sense of wave, which is literally a series pattern of S connecting to each other. Going from the middle all the way down and all the way up and back again. This represents a full cycle. Now, without me saying further, you know what I'm trying to prove here. Just a little history. While the first physician discovered the concept of the wave about 17th century. FuXi created these earlier heaven 8 trigrams around 8,000 years ago. In a word, FuXi's 8 trigrams pattern fully expressed the fundamental idea of how everything in the universe works. It is also the idea of yin and yang. Earlier heaven here, earlier means original or from the very beginning. Now let's have a look at the later heaven, or King Wen's 8 trigrams. So King Wen not only uses FuXi's 8 trigrams to create his 64 hexagrams, he also arranged them into his own way. Along the history, there are a lot of great I-Ching practitioners trying to interpret the meaning behind this pattern. I find they all make sense at a certain point. Here, I will explain to you based on Confucius annotations.
About 1040 BC, the last king of Shang dynasty, King Zhou, ruled the whole country with violence and tyranny. The man named Ji-Chang, or we all know later on King Wen, tried to overthrow Zhou's rulership. However, King Zhou found out Wen's intention in the beginning and locked him in prison for almost 7 years. In prison, King Wen never gave up the idea of overthrowing King Zhou. By consulting with the I-Ching, he would achieve his political purpose and save the local people. So he invented the 64 hexagrams and rearranged the 8 trigrams pattern. Let's have a look at how Confucius has interpreted King Wen's intentions behind this pattern. King comes forth in Zheng to his producing work. All things are made to issue forth in Zheng, which is placed at the east. Apparently here, King is the King Wen himself. Zheng is the starting point, which is also the springtime. Wen's whole army should start to prepare for the upcoming war, both mentally and physically. He brings his processes into full and equal action in Xun, which is placed at southeast. Here, full and equal action is particularly referred to King Wen's troops. By the end of the spring, his troops should be well prepared for any order to come through at any time. Xun stands for wind. Wind itself is King Wen. The troops are like grass on the ground. Wherever the wind blows, the grass goes. Li gives the idea of brightness. All things now are all made manifest to one another. It is the trigram of the south. Different armies from different locations should meet each other at one place in the summertime, in order to know each other's strength and the limits before the war. Kun represents the earth and is placed at the southwest. All things reach their fullest nourishment. The greatest service is done for him in Kun. The war is near. One last thing to prepare is the food supply. Just before the autumn, the whole army should work hard, gather as much food as they can from the ground. Dui corresponds to the west and to the autumn, the season in which all things rejoice. While King Wen was locked in the prison, his son Ji Fa was doing all sorts of war preparation outside. King Wen warns his son the war is about to start. At this critical time, he should show more joyfulness, specifically more loyalty to King Zhou, in order to lower his vigilance. He struggles in Qian, which is the trigram of the northwest. The idea is that there are the inactive and active conditions beat against each other. The war eventually started before the winter time. Battle of Muye, one of the greatest battles occurred in Chinese history. The Zhou army, led by King Wen's son Ji Fa, defeated the defending army of the King Zhou at Muye and captured the Shang capital city Ying, ended the Shang dynasty. He is comforted and enters into rest in Kan. Kan is the trigram of the exactly north, the trigram of comfort and rest. What are all things tending to? The first thing after winning the war that king should do is to reward all the soldiers for what they have done. It is a time for rest and enjoying the great achievement. He completes the work of the year in Gen. Gen is the trigram of the northeast. All things bring to a full end of the past year, and prepare the commencement of the next. After great time in winter, it is a time to build a new dynasty from zero, and ready to meet any challenges that will appear in the future.
If we apply the same principle behind this whole political purpose into a different area of our life, such as agriculture, it will still make sense. Zheng, the spring, is the time for planting the new seeds. And they will grow in summer, which is Li, and the fruits in autumn, which is Dui, and it's also time for harvesting. And in the last winter time, Kan, is when we rest and relax after a whole year's hard work and enjoy the result of what we have achieved, and also make ready for another cycle to come. In summary, King Wen's arrangements is all about human activities. Just like the reason why he invented 64 hexagrams, he really wants us to use I-Ching's wisdom in our daily life. Later heaven. Here, later means manifested. King Wen's arrangements of 8 trigrams is a development based on FuXi's pattern. After FuXi discovered the yin-yang energies for us, now is the time King Wen teaches us how to actually use them.
Regarding the later having number system, it is normally presented in this form, 9-grid, or we call it 九宫格. You will see this a lot in 悬空 flying star when you learn feng shui. Actually, this number sequence is used quite frequently in other I-Ching reading methods as well. It doesn't matter which horizontal, vertical, or diagonal lines. If you add them up, they will all equal to 15. Now, because of the time, I won't go too deep here. For now, just try to remember each trigram related number in this pattern. But stay tuned. I will definitely explore more about this when I teach you how to do the I-Ching reading in the near future.
That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy. If you like today's content, please give a thumb up and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next one. And if you have any other questions, please leave it in the comment section. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.